Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tom Hill, and thanks for joining us. One day after strongly suggesting she would strengthen her order for people in the state to wear masks indoors in public places, Governor Gretchen Whitmer has issued an order to that effect and more. News 8's political reporter Rick Albin is here with what the governor is now requiring. Rick?
Yeah, Tom, the governor was adamant when I spoke to her yesterday that wearing a mask indoors in a public place was not optional. She expressed concern that community spread of COVID-19 could be in part because some people aren't wearing masks. So this morning, the governor issued a new executive order, number 147, that says anyone entering any business is, I'll quote directly from the order here, required to wear a face covering whenever they are in an indoor public space. It also requires the use of face coverings in crowded outdoor spaces. Most significantly, the order requires any business that is open to the public to refuse entry or service to people who refuse to wear a face covering. End quote. Now, the new order makes non-compliance a misdemeanor that is punishable by a $500 fine. You cannot be jailed, however, for not wearing a mask. The new order goes into effect at 12:01 a.m. Monday. Now, there are some exemptions. Children under 5 don't have to wear a mask. Those with medical conditions that can't wear masks are also exempt. And people seated at restaurants are not required to have the mask on while they're eating. The order goes further and says businesses must refuse entry and service to individuals to people who don't wear masks, as we just said. But they must also post signs requiring masks and pointing out that not wearing a mask is illegal. And if an agency overseeing such a business finds that it is not in compliance, it will, and again I'll quote from the order, consider whether the public health, safety, or welfare requires summary, temporary suspension of a business license. So the governor did as she suggested yesterday, double down on making sure people are wearing masks. But will it work? What will enforcement look like? And who will be handing out those $500 citations? Now, those are some questions I hope to get answered when I speak to the governor later today. And of course, you'll see part of that interview coming up at 5 and 6 tonight, Tom.
Yeah, I think, Rick, that is the big question, is enforcement here. Do we have any indication if it's law enforcement that would be pointing this out? Have we had any guidance from the governor on that point yet?
We really don't. And as a practical matter, you're talking about thousands of businesses spread across the state. And the question would be, would local law enforcement even have the manpower or the ability? And the same with the regulatory agencies from the state. Yes, they license businesses, but do they have enough people to spread out over the state? And who reports it? And what kind of proof do you need? And do you have to observe it? I mean, there are 1,000 questions about this. I think the idea is the governor's really trying to emphasize what the health community and she have been saying for the past 4 months, that it's very important to wear a mask. But as you well know, Tom, this has become a very politicized issue and polarizing issue. And this is probably going to take those in the no mask category and just push them a little bit further, because they'll see this as one more requirement that they don't believe is necessary.
All right. Thanks, Rick. We will look forward to your conversation with the governor later today.